In this video, we are going to talk about how to set up and run a Carve in Easel. The first thing we want to do when setting up our Carve is to ensure that we have the correct machine profile selected. We can check this by selecting Machine at the top of the screen. This will open a drop-down menu. At the top of that menu, we will see our machine profile listed. If we do not see the correct machine profile, we can click on the Machine menu to open a second drop-down. Simply select the correct profile and then connect your machine. If you do not see any profile, you would need to set up a machine profile. We also want to confirm that our bit and material settings are all correct. Also, we want to ensure that the cut depth, toolpath, and settings are consistent with the carve that we want. Now that we've checked these parameters, we can start setting up the carve. The first thing we recommend is homing the machine to calibrate it. While not all machines have homing or limit switches, if your machine does, we recommend homing it. Homing establishes a known reference position by moving each axis to its limit or homing switches. Thus, the machine can accurately position tools and execute programs. Once the machine is homed, we can clamp our material down. This is particularly advantageous to do after homing since our spindle is out of the way. Reviewing the toolpath simulation lets us know where the spindle will and will not travel. This helps us identify the best place for our clamps to be so they do not interfere with the toolpath. Now that the material is clamped, we can click on the green Carve button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. This will open a window with a set of steps. The first step is to measure the material. We encourage you to double-check your material thickness and type and confirm them in this step. As the old adage says, measure twice, cut once. If the material thickness is changed, it is best practice to back out of the Carve setup and double-check the toolpath and Carve simulation. You can click the Confirm Material Thickness button when you're ready to continue. The next page asks us to confirm the material is clamped. We can confirm that via the button on the bottom of the screen. The next page will ask us to confirm the bit we are using. It will also provide written instructions for how to best clamp the bit into the collet. Once the bit is confirmed, we can continue. This next page is where we will set the start point for our Carve. This page will appear in one of two ways. If a Z-probe was configured in the machine profile setup, you will be given two options. One is to set the work 0 using the Z-probe, or you'll have the option to set it manually. Selecting the Z-probe step will bring you to a new page for Z-probing. To start, you'll use the right-hand jog controls to move the spindle over the material. Once that is done, click Confirm Position. You'll then plug in the Z-probe to your controller or carriage. Easel will show a green check when the probe is plugged in. Once you see the green check, you can attach the clip of the probe to the collet of the spindle and confirm it is attached. Once that is confirmed, you can take the touch plate and touch it to the bit. This checks for a connection. If there is one, the circle will turn green. If the connection is not working, try adjusting the Z-probe clip. Once the connection is confirmed, place the Z-probe on the material and start the probing process. The spindle will move down, and when it touches the probe, it will stop. Our work 0 Z is now set. Go ahead and put away the probe and confirm that the probe has been put away to continue with the Carve setup. This next session will ask you to set the work 0. Here, we can jog the X and Y axis to the Carve start position. In Easel, this is either the front left corner or the center of the material. Once our bit is in position, we can click on the Use New Position button. This sets our work 0. There is a tool for returning to a previous set work 0 below the Use New Position button. If this is your first Carve or the first work 0 you are setting in a session, always use the New Position button. Once the work 0 has been set, you will be brought to the last page of the setup. If you do not have a Z-probe, you will continue with the manual setup. In this setup, you will set your Z height by using the jog controls to bring down the bit till it is just barely above the material. You can put a piece of paper between the bit and the material if the paper Catch is when you try to pull it out, your bit is low enough. You can use the jog interval controls to get more granular with how far the z-axis moves down. This can help with getting as accurate as possible when setting the z-height. After the z-height is set, go ahead and set the XY0 to the carve start position and again click Use New Position. This will bring you to the final step of the carve setup. This next page has the last steps and important safety checks before starting the carve. The steps and options shown on this page are based on your machine setup. When you are ready to start carving and reach this page, follow the prompts on screen and use the support documentation in the description as a reference for more tips and resources. One thing that can be useful to do before running a carve for the first time is verifying the toolpath via an air carve. To do this, when setting up the carve, set it up as normal, and when setting the work 0, keep the spindle above the material, or just don't use a bit when setting up the carve, and then run the carve as normal. This will give you a good idea of what the toolpath is going to do and make sure the carve is going to work just fine. Good luck with your carving journey, and know that you can always return to these videos or access Easel resources at any time for any additional information and help.